What's good, everyone? This is Money Max, the resident R&B god over at Craftmaster Productions, where we provide context in a world full of content. Last week was the Grammy Awards. I'd like to tell you how important the Grammy Awards are to the people in our industry, that anyone who wins a Grammy effectively becomes a market leader from that point on. For the next year or so, everyone tries to copy their sound. So for you to prepare for this year that's coming, you really need to take in some of the Grammy Award winning songs and what went into them, how they're structured, how even the instrument choices and things like that. I thought I would take the time to make a short series on some of the Grammy winning songs and some of the Grammy winning music.
6.5 hours later.
Now, one of the first Grammy winners I want to focus on is Jazmine Sullivan. So Jazmine Sullivan finally won her Grammy, and she won it for the song. Well, she won 2 Grammys. She won one for Hotels, the project, and she won one for the song Pick Up Your Feelings. Now, I've already done a tutorial on Pick Up Your Feelings. You can find it on the channel. So I'm going to do another tutorial on the other most prominent song from this project, which is On It. This is a 1/7 chord progression. It goes from A major 7 to G minor 7, or G sharp minor 7, I should say. And then resolves to a D. So I'll play that real quick. So that's the melody. I'm sure you'll know it, and you can go and check out the song as well. It's a really great song. The reason that this is important, and I can do a whole video on the 1/7 chord progression, is because the 1/7 chord progression is one of the 2 most prominent chord progressions of our time. So you have the 1/5 chord progression, which is an evolution of the 1/4/5, and you have the 1/7. And really, it was Drake who made the 1/7 so prominent. Drake! You'll find that chord sequence in the CLB chord pack that we put out. You'll find it in the Doja Cat chord pack that we put out. You'll find it in the Meek Mill chord pack. You'll find it in the Summer Walker chord pack. And of course, as I've just shown, you'll find it in the Hotels chord pack from Jazmine Sullivan. So there's a reason that this is a Grammy winning chord sequence. And as we do the series, I'll show you other ways in which the 1/7 is used. So the chords I've used are G minor 7 and F minor 9. I've evolved that into an actual full sample. I kept that same piano melody and changed the instrument. All I did for that was I used the Labs piano from Spitfire Audio, ran it through a guitar pedal and an EQ, and then through my Zulu as well, my preamp, and then back into the DAW, and then I'm just sending that a little bit to this plate. I've shown you my sends already in my tutorial on my Logic Pro X sample making template. Then I also added the counter melody with the same piano, and you'll hear this. So what you have there with the counter melody and the main melody is a technique, or compositional technique called question and response. So I'm basically treating the original melody I came up with as like a question, and then treating the counter melody as a response. So even the way the melody goes, it kind of goes upwards and then the response goes downwards, upwards and downwards, rise and fall in the same way. The rhythm of it as well, like you get one, then you get the other, one, and then the other. And if you look at them, I've actually panned one of them left and one of them right so that you get the stereo width that you're looking for. The next thing I added was my bass, which I'll play to you. I've not really done anything with that. I think I added a little bit of saturation knob. It's a one knob plugin. It's free if you ever had like a Focusrite interface or anything. But yeah, that's pretty simple. Then I added this sound here. So it just mirrors the counter melody of the piano. And I'm sending that to a long delay. As you can see, it's panned to the right pretty far, and then the delay return that I'm sending it to is panned to the left, so it gives you that stereo field. And then of course some plate reverb. And then if you add it to everything. So that's the basics of the sample. And then of course samples have to evolve. I like to have like a verse and a chorus almost in my samples. And so the next thing I added was this. And it's just basically the exact same chords. And it just adds some weight to it. I like to, sometimes when I'm making samples, I like to not have the chords playing all the way through, because especially if I start with chords, me personally, this is a very much a personal thing. Sometimes if I start with chords, I'll play the chords and I'll have them there and I'll kind of just get stuck. Whereas if I force myself to start with melodies, knowing what chords I have and then add the chords in later, I find it enables me to be more creative with it. This pad pluck, it is panned all the way to the left. Couldn't be any further left. And I'll play that for you now. So that's already a kind of a cool sound. I got that from Analog Labs. And then I added a delay, and the delay is panned 24 cents to the right, and it adds the stereo width, so you'll hear that now. And then I added a plate reverb, which makes it even more spacey. What happens is my delay is panned to the right and my plate reverb is in the middle, and the plate reverb has a longer tail, a longer reverb tail. So what you get is like, you get the initial sound, then you get it coming to the right, and then it ends up in the middle. And that's slightly advanced. Like, it's not the typical way of doing sends and all that kind of stuff, but that's what engineers do, like at the highest level. That's what your Manny Marroquins, that's what your Pensados, that's what your Bob Osinskis, your Mike Deans, that's what they tend to do to get the stereo width and the movement and stuff. It makes things feel like they're moving around your head and like it's not as static, basically. Then the other thing I added was this. So that's panned all the way to the right. We've got our plate, inevitably, and then we've also got a delay, which is panned to the left. What I've done here is, just like with the main melody and counter melody, with these two melodies, I've got the two of them bouncing off each other, question and response, question and response. have a third pluck echoing that last pluck that I just added. We now add those sounds into the context of our sample. And you hear how long those reverb and delay tails are as well. So that's how I made the sample from the same kind of chord progression that won Jasmine Sullivan her Grammy this week. Congratulations once again to her. And this is Money Max reminding you to keep it simple, but do not be basic.